For the third straight weekend in a row, a major college football team is firing their head coach. This time, it is LSU parting ways with Brian Kelly. It was Florida and Billy Napier last week. It was Penn State and James Franklin the week before. And this shakeup is about to be crazy. I'm going to tell you how that news impacts the Tennessee Volunteers in three big ways. Number one, possible recruit poaching. We're just a month and a half away from National Signing Day. Maybe there's some LSU Tigers that want to go a little bit northeast and come to Knoxville, Tennessee. Number two, let's talk about some transfer portal targets, looking at LSU's roster. And then last up, that SEC shakeup, it is coming. I'm going to tell you how there might be 8 new head coaches in the SEC when we're starting the 2026 season. Appreciate you guys for being here. My name is Joey Petersen. Make sure you subscribe to the show. We're 78 subs away from 8.5 thousand subscribers, and also, it's free. That's pretty much the biggest reason. It doesn't cost you anything. Daily shows, that's what you get in return. And with that, let's get started with today's show. After a 34-14 overall record, Brian Kelly is on the outs at Louisiana State University. SEC championship game loss in 2022. Of course, he coached Heisman winner Jaden Daniels in 2023. And before we get into anything, I just want to thank Brian Kelly for everything he did for the University of Tennessee, for everything that he did for me and my buddies who made the trip to Baton Rouge for that game back in 2022. He made sure we had the most fun that we absolutely could. So shout out to him. He'll be missed at LSU, at least by me. Let's talk recruits, okay, because I think that's where this might have the biggest impact. There's a couple of kids in their 2026 class that I really feel that if Josh Heupel and company shift their focus to them, if they decide to decommit after the coaching change, Tennessee might add some new blue chip prospects, starting with 4-star cornerback Javon Finney Jr. 6'2", real long cornerback, 170 pounds, 82nd national player, 12th best cornerback in the class of 2026. And we know for a fact that he's been in talks with Tennessee because his dad said so just yesterday. He's been talking to Coach Moore at Michigan, in Texas, in Tennessee, and some of these other schools. We're good for right now. We're trying to see what all happens. We know some of the details. Just need to figure out what the future looks like. And I don't mean the immediate future. I mean the future. And Steve Wiltfong released an article just late last night after Brian Kelly was fired, and he mentioned that Javon Finney will likely take visits with Michigan, Texas, and Tennessee in play. And look, I think this would be an absolute slam dunk by Tennessee if they could get this kid to flip from LSU to the Vols, because when you look at their recruiting class right now and you look at their cornerback commits, they've got some good ones. But a guy like Javon Finney Jr. would be at the very top of the list in terms of that position group. Zay Anderson is their highest-rated recruit in the cornerback room. He's a 4-star, 359th national player. Javon Finney Jr. is 82nd nationally. Jamian Theodore, Javonte Smith, 77, best cornerback, 92nd best cornerback. Javon Finney is the 12th best cornerback in this class. Keep an eye out on him, okay? We'll keep you updated as the days goes on. Tristen Martinez is another guy we need to talk about, take a look at. 4-star offensive lineman, 6'5", 300 pounds, 103rd national player in the class of 2026, 8th offensive tackle. And he was asked his emotions after the Brian Kelly news, and he says, it's very upsetting and a bump in the road. I will be evaluating my options more, most definitely. Now, I don't know where Tennessee stands in the grand scheme when it comes to Tristen. I know that they were heavy in recruiting him out of high school, and so I would not be surprised if that same sentiment shows if they do believe that he's a guy who could decommit and eventually flip. I will add this, though. Tennessee has a lot of really good offensive tackle commits already. Gabriel Cinda, Kamari Blair, those guys are blue chip prospects in their own right. So would Tristen Martinez want to join an already crowded room? Who knows? Maybe he likes the competition aspect of it, but still will not be shocked if the Vols reach out. Before we done with recruiting, let's give you another honorable mention. How about Kenny Darby? 4-star wide receiver, 214th national player, 24th best wide receiver in the class of 2026. The Vols were in on recruiting him as well. He ultimately committed to Mississippi State, decommitted, flipped to LSU, and now after this firing, depending on who they hire, I've got a good feeling he's going to try to go play his college ball somewhere else and sign somewhere else on the dotted line on National Signing Day. Now, why do I mention Tennessee? Well, it just so happens that a former LSU wide receiver that has already flipped to Tennessee, him, Tristen Keys, they're boys. This is from Go Tiger 24/7, just a couple of months ago. Tiger commits Tristen Keys, Jabari, Mack, and Kenny Darby. We're also in town this weekend. I'm told the trio spent the entire weekend hanging out, taking pictures, and so on. They all gave strong vibes that they were locked in, looking forward to playing together. Well, after this news, who's going to tell Kenny Darby that he still has the opportunity, he's still got the chance to play with Tristen Keys? Now, I get it. He's not near the recruit that Keys is. And Tennessee's already got some pretty legendary, pun intended, wide receiver commits coming in this 2026 class. But hey, the more, the merrier. Kenny Darby, come team up with Tristen Keys again. How many LSU recruits do you think Tennessee poaches? Let me know in the comment section down below. Is it one? Maybe it's a little more than that. Maybe they get 3, 4. I don't know. You let me know down below. Let's talk transfer portal now, okay, before we talk about the SEC coaching shakeup. In this realm, there's really only one guy I think is worth talking about and worth mentioning, because I don't want to get your hopes up too much, because at the end of the day, like, we don't know 100% how many of the current players on that roster will enter the transfer portal. I imagine it's going to be a lot, especially on the defensive side of the ball. That's where we got to start talking about this, okay? And that's where we're going to talk about Dashawn Spears, LSU safety, because Blake Baker is their defensive coordinator right now. Although they did let up about 1 million points to A&M, I still believe in Blake Baker, and I know those kids absolutely love playing for Blake Baker. Whoever LSU hires, they're probably not going to keep Blake Baker on that staff. They're going to want to bring their own defensive guys in. So sure, if you're an offensive player for LSU and they end up hiring an offensive mind like a Lane Kiffin, you might be more inclined to stay because that's your coach. That's your side of the football. These defensive guys, they don't have any incentive to stay if LSU hires an offensive guy. And I know that Tennessee was in on Dashawn coming out of high school. He's a sophomore, so he was in the class of 2023. And this year, he's played in about 8 games, all of them so far, 13 tackles. No pass breakups yet, but 2 interceptions. One of those he took back for a touchdown against the Florida Gators. We know that safety is an absolutely massive role on this roster. It's an absolutely massive hole on this roster as well. I don't want to talk too badly about Turntine or any of the guys in that room, but I think we can all agree that they've made a ton of mistakes, and I think we all know that going into this next season, going into the transfer portal, safety is a position I want Josh Heupel to be looking at. Safety is a position I want Josh Heupel to have a desire to improve in and get better in. Sean is a guy I'd give a lot of attention to because, again, you've already made those relationships with him at one point, recruiting him out of high school. Do you want the Vols to crush it in the transfer portal? If you do, go ahead, hit that thumbs up button, and like today's video. Send as many good vibes as you can to Knoxville, Tennessee, and all around the country. I got something that you guys will love, okay? I told you to like the video. Well, I know you're going to like this. $50. That's what the price was for this. Now it's all the way dropped down to $30. Chatsports.com/UTQZip. That's the link. I made it super easy for you. I put that in the comments. I also put that in the description of today's video, so you don't even have to memorize it. All you got to do is click on it. It'll take you to get this smoky gray quarter zip. Guys, it is getting cool in Knoxville, Tennessee. You know how I know that? Because it's getting cool in Dallas, Texas, right? Kneeling at night on Saturday, you might need a new little quarter zip. It's word of the game. It's going to be chilly. Chatsports.com/UTQZip. You could also just load up on Christmas presents for your friends and family. I know they'll appreciate it, and you can get it at a great price. Last, before we get on out of here, the SEC shakeup, guys, it is coming, and it could be absolutely massive. So right now, October 27th, year of our Lord 2025, there are 3 openings in the SEC. The Arkansas Razorbacks, the Florida Gators, and the LSU Tigers. Obviously, LSU, Florida, those are 2 schools that they could just take any head coach, most likely any head coach that they want, especially when it comes to LSU. Maybe not any. They could take a lot of head coaches. That's what I'm trying to say. Those are really good jobs. The names I'm hearing for LSU right now: Lane Kiffin, Eli Drinkwitz, Clark Lee, Marcus Freeman, and Kenny Dillingham. Top 3 of those names, all SEC coaches currently. For Florida, Lane Kiffin, Eli Drinkwitz, both of those names, James Franklin, Jed Fish, and please, Alex Golish, do not, for the love of God, go be a Florida Gator, because I like cheering for you. I like rooting for you, and if you wear orange and blue, I can never do that again. All that to say, with the names I'm hearing about, with the current SEC openings, it is about to get wild in the Southeastern Conference. Because there are 2 jobs that I believe are going to come open very, very soon. That's Kentucky, and that is Auburn. I think Mark Stoops and Hugh Freeze are just weeks away from losing their jobs as well. And if Clark Lee goes somewhere else, if he gets a better job, if Lane Kiffin goes to LSU or Florida, or if or if Eli Drinkwitz goes to either place or a new job, you're looking at 8 schools with new head coaches in 2026. Arkansas, Florida, LSU, Mizzou if Drinkwitz leaves, Vandy if Lee leaves, Auburn and Kentucky if they both fire their current head coaches, and Ole Miss if Lane Kiffin ends up leaving. Guys, those are all very realistic possibilities, and so I think we can all just take this time to thank our lucky stars that Josh Heupel isn't going anywhere. At least we think. What do you guys think? You think Josh Heupel's getting any offers? I wonder. I'm sure he is, right? I'm sure someone is at least calling to check. Now, I don't think he's going to take them. That would be ridiculous. I'd be heartbroken. But I want you guys to tell me. You think he's getting any offers? Give me a yes or a no down below. That's going to do it for today's show. Appreciate you guys for hanging out with me. I'm on Twitter. I'm on Instagram. I'm on TikTok. I'm everywhere. Make sure you get me followed on all platforms. And make sure you are subscribed to the channel. YouTube.com/Vols Talk. You found the best place if you love the Vols, if you love daily free things. You got it all right here on Tennessee Football Talk.